Good morning, Howard. Thank you for joining us. I'm glad you made it to the studio in Pretoria.
Good morning to you. Yes, I'm also glad I made it. The traffic was absolutely horrendous this morning.
As a nation, we are obsessed with the amount of deaths on the roads during the festive periods. That's a couple of times every year. But just tell us, is there any difference between this period and any other time of the year?
Well, to be very honest with you, if the increased traffic enforcement didn't take place during the periods of Easter and Christmas, I can assure you that we would have a heck of a lot more fatalities and injuries than we usually do, for the pure and simple reason that there's a greater volume of traffic on the roads at those times. But interestingly enough, the most fatal month of the year, if you'd like to actually call it that, the month in which most people are actually killed, is July. And we don't have any increased enforcement at that time of the year. The reasons are probably multiple in that there's change of seasons, etc., etc. But you know, consistently on a monthly basis, we lose a large amount of people on our roads, and we keep on focusing on this story of people dying on our roads.
Yeah.
But once again, I have to point out the amount of people that actually get injured on our roads exceeds those numbers by 10 times. So where we're talking about 17,000 people dying per year, it's actually 170,000 odd people that are actually affected by this, by being involved in these crashes and either sustaining injuries or dying.
So the economic impact is actually much wider than what we are aware of, I would think.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, if we have a look at the estimations of 306, 307 billion rand a year, and that's a billion with a B, the fact is that this has a big impact on our economy. If that's the way people want to measure things in money, then yeah, well, then let's do that. You know, the average cost of cleaning up a crash scene goes into tens of thousands, if not more, especially when you have situations where you have to shut down freeways, etc., etc. Yesterday on the R21, there was a collision involving a bakkie. It was a double cab bakkie, and on the back of this double cab bakkie were two passengers. They no longer have their lives now, but that actually shut down the R21 for several hours.
I want to talk about the carnage counter that you guys are putting up for the public to interact with. Just tell us about this and then how the public can interact with this to become more aware.
Yes, well, we believe that road safety is a daily thing, it's an hourly thing, it's a minute thing. You know, to concentrate on it at particular times of the year is absolutely ludicrous, and I would like to actually congratulate SABC for being the first to come forward and have a monthly feature, and we really appreciate that this is happening. But essentially the carnage counter is live on the internet. It can be interfaced with at our website at any given time, and it gives you a pretty accurate count of where we stand at the moment. The fact is that it's been worked out on algorithms that take into account the amount of bodies lying in mortuaries, the amount of people lying in hospitals, etc., etc., and the cost to the economy. So it shows you a good overall picture of where we really do stand right now.
Howard, what's the problem? It seems as if South Africans are very angry and aggressive on the roads in general. Is that the problem?
Well, it's one of multiple problems. I don't think that anybody would be realistic in saying this is the specific problem and, you know, this is how we're going to deal with it. If it was that easy, we could reduce road fatalities down to zero overnight. But unfortunately, South Africa is no different to the rest of the world. And unfortunately, motorists will always drive as badly as they are actually allowed to do so by the authorities. Law enforcement in this country, when it comes to traffic law enforcement, is practically non-existent. People know this, they take chances, they get very aggressive, as you actually so correctly pointed out. They see people behaving badly, and instead of saying to themselves, I'm not going to follow that example, they turn around to themselves and say, well, if you can't beat them, join them. Now, that's an inherent problem in our country, and it's come as a result of insufficient law enforcement. We need to actually take our roads back, to be very honest with you, but it's not going to be achieved by motorists going out and becoming more aggressive, entering into road rage and trying to be the traffic cop themselves. Just remember, if you think that you're a better driver than everybody else, you're not actually alone. You're probably in 100% of the population, because there have been studies that have been conducted in the past where people have been canvassed and asked, do you think you're a better driver than others? And 100% of those people say yes. So obviously there's no terrible drivers on our roads. But the fact is that you can't be a traffic cop. You should never, ever engage in trying to punish another motorist, and that actually causes a heck of a lot of crashes throughout our country because of that aggression that arises from that.
Howard, thank you for joining us today. It's really scary that up to 40 people a day are dying on the roads in South Africa every day. That is Howard Dembovsky, who is with Justice Project South Africa, just giving us a look at what's happening on the roads and how we can change our behavior. Remember, it's up to you, really. All of us driving in South Africa, it's up to you. You're the reason why the roads are going crazy. Keep it together and be courteous on the road, and we all make it home intact.